What's up guys, my name is Elle and welcome to or back to the Coffee Shop Project. Today we are doing another cupping featuring my friend's coffee, which is a small little home roastery out of California started by this super cool guy named Gary, who was always just making coffee in his house, and his friends were like, this is amazing, you gotta turn it into a business. And so now he has a company, My Friend's Coffee. They have almost 1,000 followers on Instagram, and I have the privilege of doing a little cupping for you guys today. And the first one I'm gonna be trying for you guys is the Sumatra Wet Hold Blend, which I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about in a second, but first we gotta brew it. So the pour over that I'm gonna be using today is a Melitta pour over, which came in my little Melitta pour over set that I got at Pottery Barn. I've been obsessed with the presentation, and I chose this one because he said his coffee would be best brewed in a pour over, specifically a V60. Unfortunately, I did not have one of those, so I'm making the best of what I do have. And this one is a little bit different than a Clever Dripper because it actually goes straight through. So you pop it on top, pour the coffee in, and then you just add 300 milliliters of water and it goes through and you kind of watch it drain. So on the bags, I really like how Gary left how the coffee was processed. So wet hold with coffee means that the coffee is processed at a greater moisture level and it usually leaves earthier notes. So I'm smelling it right now, and off the bat, it smells a little bit sweet, like fruity, but also kind of grassy, so it's definitely living up to that profile, but we will see in a minute. The coffee is also turning kind of reddish, which I haven't seen happen before. I've had someone serve it to me that way, but it's never happened in my own kitchen, which is kind of cool. So I finished up the Sumatra off camera and moved on to the Ethiopian dry processed single farm coffee. And dry processed means that the coffee was dried before it was pulped in the cherry, which kind of leaves a fruity flavor profile. So this one, when I smelled it for the first time, it was like opening a box of blueberry muffins. Like, it almost smells like there's sugar in there, even though you know there isn't, because it's all like nice and natural. And usually I don't like go for super fruity coffees just like on the day-to-day, but I really love tasting them every once in a while and having like a small little cup. So I'm looking forward to this one. Okay, so all of the coffee has gone through, and now it's time to pour. I love pouring out of this little glass craft. And now it's time to do our last one. Last roast I prepared off camera. It is also a single origin coffee. It's called the Guatemala Antigua roast, and it's best for people who like richer coffee and smooth espresso, and it has chocolate and orange notes, which I think I'm gonna enjoy. But we're gonna start with the first one that we brewed, which is the Sumatra Wet Hold Roast, and again, it's gonna have earthy notes. So we're gonna smell. It smells like grass. You know, for someone that doesn't usually like earthy coffees, this is my favorite one that I've had so far because I enjoy how smooth it is when you're taking the sip, and I like when acidity hits on like the side of my tongues, which this one nails. So while I'm not necessarily an earthy coffee person, this one's up there for me. I also forgot to mention that all of these are light roast, so that does kind of play into the tasting. I'm gonna take a sip of water. And we are gonna move on to the Ethiopian dry processed single origin roast. This one is so sweet, but like delicately sweet, not overwhelming, and it has some nice acidity that hits in the back of your tongue. It's very fun and floral. If I had like a little bit of like lavender syrup and shook it in like a shaker to make it iced, I think that could be a really cool way to prepare it. Really good. Our last roast is the Guatemala Antigua roast, which I think is going to be my favorite, but we're gonna put that to the test. Let's smell it. This definitely smells like a coffee that I'll like. That one is sweet. Like, fills your whole mouth with sweetness. It's definitely not my favorite of the three, but it's still good. Actually, of all of them, my favorite is the Sumatra wet hold roast, which is a huge surprise for me just because of my normal feelings on earthy coffee. I think all these were fun and very potent, which sounds like a bad thing, but in coffee I think it's a good thing because you get that full, nice, acidic flavor profile. But again, this would be the winner for me if you were to pick one to purchase. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Coffee Shop Project at home. If you enjoyed it, I would love if you would consider subscribing from the button down below. Last time I checked, we were at like 195 subscribers, so we're so close to that 200 milestone. And while you're there, you can check out all things My Friend's Coffee. I'm gonna link Gary's shop and his Instagram page. Check them out, leave a comment, buy some coffee, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.